Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Podcast History and Choice. Today, we were diving into the life of a man whose voice was echoing through Colombia's political chaos, Jaime Garzón. While we were preparing this episode, we were discovering how his satire was shocking the foundation of power and how his words were becoming weapons of truth. We were talking about a man who was not just joking, he was challenging. Jaime Garzón was being a comedian, a journalist, a peace mediator, and a fierce critic of corruption. And while he was making people laugh, he was also mocking the thing. So let's get into it.
So, Jaime Garzón was born in Bogota in 1960. While he was growing up, he was already showing signs of being different. He was questioning things. He was reading a lot, and he engaged in debates with his teachers. He studied law at the National University of Colombia, and later he was trying to teach political science at the Javeriana, but he was completing it. During his joke, he was bitter joined the LN guerrilla, but he was realizing quickly that violence was solving anything. He was leaving that path and was starting to work with the intellectuals who were discussing peace and democracy, while others were stayed silent. Jaime was already speak up.
Political care and mediation. In the late 80s, Jaime was becoming political active. He was working as the mayor of Sumapas, a rural district in Bogota, while he was holding state position. He was trying to bring attention to do the forward Commonites later during Cesar Gaviria's presidency. He was coordinating translation of the 91 Constitution in Indo-Indigenous language. He was being a bridge between the government and the people. But what was really making him stand out was his role as a peace mediator. He was helping to negotiate the rights of hostages taken by armed groups, while others were ignoring the victims. I was visiting the taking to guerrillas and cheering to rank team home. He was risking his life while the government was watching from a distance.
Meanwhile, Jaime was entering the media world was creating unforgettable characters like Heriberto de la Calle and Dioselina Tibana, while was performing was exposing the absurdities of Colombian politics. Was mocking the light, but was also educating the public. Israel was becoming a model for society. Ewax greeting columns, drawn cartoons, and hosting shows like ¿Cuál? El noticiero, while people were losing they were also learning. Jaime was turning comedy into activism, was being a voice for the voiceless, and was walking powerful people or comfortable.
Threats and assassination. By 1999, Jaime was receiving threats. He was telling his friends that he was being followed. He was continuing his work. He was knowing that danger was getting closer. On August 13 and of 1999, he was driving to work when he was being shot and killed. The investigation was revealing that a paramilitary groups, state officials, and members of the DAS will begin involved. Carlos Castaño and Jose Miguel Narváez will begin named as the intellectual authors. The state was begin complicit by action, omission, or direct participation.
Even after that, Jaime's voice was continued to echo. People were remembering his words, his jokes, and his courage. His assassination was become a symbol of the danger of speaking truth in Colombia. While the country was moving forward, Jaime's memory was pulled back to reflect. He was being more than comedian, he was being conscient, is legalist, was aspiring journalist, artist, and activist, and where music was taking the cats, is impacted never fading.
Reflection and closing. While we were researching Jaime Garzón, we were realizing how relevant he still was. He critiqued where style applied today. His humor was still making sense, and his bravery was still remaining. Was that truth has a cost.
And we're asking ourselves what won Jaime, beside today, probably would be looking at the absurdity, crying for the injustice, and still fixing for piety with where recording sheets where, where feeling is present in every word.
Thanks for listening to podcast History Choice. While we were sharing Jaime Garzon's story, we were hoping to keep his voice alive. Stay curious, stay critical, and keep asking questions. Until next time,